McLean with Vincent, and that was number one for him at this time back in 1972. But with me in the studio now, I've got Natalie Dillon from a local Wood End-based company called eFish, and we're going to find out a bit more about what's going on. Good morning, Natalie. How are you?
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Now, eFish. Now, I just noticed looking at a newspaper story that you had won a very prestigious award recently from the Premier Sustainability Awards for Small Business. Tell us a little bit about that.
We did, actually. It's been a very exciting month, actually, in little eFish world. We won the Victorian Premier's Sustainability Awards for small business, and that is for companies with less than 100 employees. But the week prior to that as well, we actually also won the United Nations World Environment Day Awards for small business, for sustainability leadership for organisations under 500 employees.
Right. How many employees does eFish have?
We have 3 full-time employees.
Yeah, so you certainly qualify for under 500.
But we have an interesting business model because of we're a small startup business. So we took the approach of having a contracting business, contracting out a lot of services. So we are able to have a third-party logistics provider based in Melbourne. We have an outsourced warehousing provider based in Laverton, and we work with a team of designers who we contract on a job-by-job basis. And then our entire production supply chain is actually based in India.
Oh, fantastic. Yep. So tell us a little bit about eFish. It all started. You obviously had an interesting idea to get it going, and now it is going very well. So how did it all start?
I think we'd always had an interest in starting our own business, and it was really just finding what it was that we wanted it to be. Over many, many years of our married life, and even before that, Marty and I have done quite a lot of travel in developing countries, and so there's been a natural interest there. And then we started to have children. And I think at that point, as I think is now well documented statistically across Australia, at that point people become quite interested or more interested in the planet that they're going to hand over to their children and their generations beyond. And that sort of inspired us to say we can do more. So when we came to setting up a business, we started off with a really simple philosophy. What if we created a business that was, at every point, we made the best decision we possibly could for people, for the planet, and for everyone around us. And it's
a big ask, isn't it? Because a lot of people, business shortcuts and cost cutting and stuff is an easy decision these days. So.
That's right. But at the same time, what it means is that if you then, at every point in time, ask yourself, what's the right thing to do here? It actually becomes quite clear and easy. It means, yes, you've got to stand up and, not necessarily make the popular decision, but you don't end up with a great moral dilemma internally, I suppose, because at the end of the day, you're producing products that are doing good right along a supply chain, and ideally we'd like to think that we're, when our kids ask us the question in 5 years, well, they're already asking the questions about what we're doing to help this planet.
Yes. We
can actually give them very tangible examples of what we're doing.
Okay, so from that eFish where it all started, what does eFish now do? Is it a retailer? Is it a manufacturer? Is it a marketer? What actually does it stand for?
eFish, I guess we like to put it. We're a multifaceted ethical clothing company. So we have our own retail label, and that is now stocked in about 80 stores around Australia.
Yep.
So we design our own garment range and then produce it through our ethical supply chain in India. We also work with different channels of Australian corporates, so everyone from BHP to Telstra to Orica, all those people that need to produce a T-shirt with a brand on it, instead of that being, a $5 T-shirt from China made from hideous chemicalised cotton, they can produce a healthy garment that is supporting people right the way along a supply chain. We're also working with bands. People like John Butler Trio is really leading the music industry. We did their tour merchandise last year.
Right.
We also do another thing called private label work, where brands can come and talk to us about producing their garment range. So last year we did the garment range for Mambo into Europe.
Yeah. That was manufacture of or design as well?
No, that they produced the design. A lot of it depends. We can assist people with the design, but our expertise is really managing that manufacturing process, getting a really consistent ethical supply chain. It's quite a lot of hard work, and it's I guess there's a degree of expertise and comfort of working in a developing country as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So why did you choose India?
India is a fantastic place to grow cotton.
Right.
It's a fantastic place to grow organic cotton. India has this weather event called monsoon, and it means that there's a huge amount of water that gets dumped in the central parts of India that makes growing organic cotton a bit of a no-brainer, really. Mm-hmm. It's an appropriate place to grow cotton. So then the Fair Trade Association is very active in India. They are working with the cotton farmers in a place called Central Maharashtra. And they are working at a small farmer level to create co-ops, to educate the farmers and collect them into supply groups that then can put that cotton into a supply chain. We can then move the cotton small distances to gin it, to spin it, to dye it.
Yep.
And then put it into a cut, make and trim facility. So our international movements are limited. So from a carbon reduction perspective, it's a very efficient way of producing those garments. All of those steps in our supply chain must be fair trade certified for our garments to bear the fair trade logo.
Yep.
And all of our dyes and inks, what's called GOTS certified, so Global Organic Textile Standard, and we can achieve all of those things within that supply chain. So India is a great place.
So I presume, there's a lot of stories. You mentioned China before, and I know Vietnam, and there's a lot of talk about brands like Nike and sweatshops and things like that. But obviously the controls, the international controls on what's happening in India, even with the tyranny of distance, there are no issues in terms of the ethics of the people you're dealing with?
The International Fair Trade Labelling Organisation is a massive network, and one of the reasons why we selected that particular third-party accreditation is because of the robustness of their system. They have an ongoing monitoring program of all those people that are certified fair trade. Even ourselves, we have to submit documentation. Every time we produce a garment, we need to submit documentation that details our entire production chain right to the farmer. And so there is that, but at the end of the day, it also means that Marty, my husband, gets on a plane and actually spends time in India as well, and gets to know our supply chain intimately. So. Yeah,
so you can trust them. Now, in terms of, you mentioned the retailers, obviously you get onto your website and people can obviously view the retailers there.
Absolutely.
But can they also buy direct from you? Have you got an arrangement there?
Yes, we have an online store as well, so we can do it all. All from Woodend.
So even if I wanted to drop into in Woodend,
they can drop in and come and see us if they like. But
you're in the business centre just above Bella, near the newsagent there.
Absolutely.
So you're based there.
Come and say hi.
And the website is a very good website. How did the name Three Fish come about, Natalie?
We had decided to start a company, and Marty had his very first sourcing trips booked going through China, Bangladesh and India, and we were working backwards, and we had to lodge the forms with ASIC the very next day. So Marty and I opened a bottle of red wine, read the first book that we were ever given when our eldest daughter was born was a book called Hop on Pop. And on page 3 of this amazing Dr. Seuss, who has to be one of the great modern philosophers, is a part that says, 3 fish in a tree, how can that be?
Right.
And it's the one particular page that all 3 of our children would just collapse in huge reams of laughter.
Yeah.
And so after probably the second glass of wine and a big white piece of paper, 3 fish came up.
Fantastic.
And we thought, It's we love the story. It's Dr. Seuss writes a lot about environmental sustainability, and if you read books like The Lorax, and it's just extraordinary what he wrote 60 years ago.
Yeah.
We liked Three Fish. We have 3 children. And
the
synergy also, I suppose, between fish and being symbolic of renewal and new life. And,
exactly right.
And teaching a man to fish.
And you mentioned also corporate and promotional work.
Yes.
So you obviously do branded products for companies as well?
Yes,
and they're all on the website?
No, they're not all on the website. We tend to, we have a stock of garments in Australia that corporates, so big and small, can draw down on and use our standard garments and put their logos on that, and we can help them with that. We also, for certain volume, we can custom design and print offshore and so forth as well. So we tend to work on a client-by-client basis.
Yeah, on that basis. But with your fashion products, is it female, male, children? How does it?
Largely ladies.
Right. Not large ladies, but largely ladies.
Well, we're also working, actually, it's been lovely. We're working with another local business called Bodywise, and so we're actually expanding out our size range of our basics as well, which is fantastic, and I think has been received very well. And it's been lovely just working with another local business, actually, doing some fantastic things. So we have quite a range of garments for women. We have a small range of garments for guys, so generally tees and a V-neck tee, classic tee. We've discovered that guys don't shop a great deal. If most guys' products are actually bought by women.
Yes.
So, and we'd love to do some kids' garments down the track.
Yeah, I'm a terrible shopper. I hate the shopping experience. Even to the point of now, I do a lot of shopping online. I think
a lot of Australians do, actually. I think, it's a very interesting moment in time.
Yeah, you think it is. Natalie Dillon, that's a really fantastic story. The whole ethical thing, in terms of in the fashion business or clothing, I assume also having a real strong point of difference doesn't make it easy for you, but it certainly helps you stand out from just another brand of clothing.
I think that's true. I think at the end of the day, society has created a situation in where even though we want to produce our garments as ethically as possible, at the end of the day, they've got to be great wearable garments. People got to want to wear them just because they're lovely to wear, and so we're finding that some people are buying Three Fish products just because they like them, because they feel great. The cotton feels beautiful, and we design them that they're easy wearing. They're great for mums to do the school run and go into the office all in the same day, because we do 500,000 things at the same time. But we're gradually educating people during that process to say, you can look great, but it doesn't need to cost, the lives and require the working of children in back blocks of China.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. That's a fantastic success story, and I was really interested when I started to read about it. Natalie Dillon and her husband Marty started Three Fish. It was about 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
A fantastic effort. It's now an award-winning company with several employees, and you could even say global success, couldn't we?
Well, we have produced into a number of countries so far and delivered directly. We're currently in discussions with some businesses in the US as well. So, exciting times.
It is a great success story from the Macedon Ranges, and an award-winning business, as I said. And if you're interested in finding more about Three Fish, get onto the website and find out more, or even give them a call and drop in and see them in Woodend and have a chat.
Absolutely.
See what they're on about. Thanks, Natalie. Are you into Eminem, Natalie? Not M&M's, the singer Eminem, the rapper?
Never was, but my husband has educated me.
Oh, right. Well,